big decision there. Here to discuss with us is National Trial Attorney Michael Jaafar. Michael Jaafar, now knowing sort of the direction that the defense is going to go, I know you've sort of been firmly in the prosecution's camp. Basically, Michael Yannetti said something that David Yannetti, excuse me, said something that was very interesting. He said something to the effect of no collision, no case. And I say that in relation to this third-party culprit defense. If you've got to get past the collision part to get to this third-party culprit, do you think they've gotten there to the point where it's even going to matter?
I don't think the defense is going to win the day on that one, because I think the jury is going to make the reasonable inference that there was a collision because the taillight pieces were found in his clothing. They were woven into his, they weren't just around his body, they were in his clothing. So I feel like, and we know that the experts that the state brought on, even the cross-examination, one of the experts of the defense, it came out that it wouldn't really necessarily tell you that there's a collision in the Lexus data, even if there was a collision. It could have been a collision, and it wouldn't have been recorded as an event in the Lexus. So I believe that the jury will make the reasonable inference that there was a collision. Look, reasonable doubt is contextual, right? Context matters. If two people are on Mars by themselves and one is found dead with a gunshot wound in the back, I think we will infer reasonably that the other person shot him in the back without anything else. I'm not saying this is as extreme as two people being on Mars, you know, Karen Read and John O'Keefe, but they're closer to that than just like, we just don't know what happened. Anybody could have done it.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. But again, does that rise to the level of beyond a reasonable doubt? That's always been my question, because I'm with you, Mike, on that analysis that you just gave. All right, folks, I do have to step aside. All right, let's bring back our guest, National Trial Attorney Michael Jaafar. What I want to ask you, Mike, is again, I know you're sort of in the prosecution's wing. They didn't put on a rebuttal case. And I thought it would have made sense in this case. I thought there was room for that, specifically as, let's just talk about dog bites, right? They supposedly had a dog bite expert who found Chloe, did some measurements, and apparently they didn't match up to the bites, but we didn't see that person. What did you make of the state or the Commonwealth not putting on a rebuttal case?
I think that really puzzled me. That I would have bet my house that they would have put on an expert, because at the end of the day, we've heard experts before the trial started that said that there's no way that this was a dog bite because dogs have mandibles. The only way that these were dog bites, according to the experts outside of the trial, was, hey, what if this dog didn't have a mandible, didn't have a bottom jaw, because judges will bite. There was no bite marks, alleged bite marks on the inside of his arm, which is where you would see it. So I was stunned by that. I also, you know, I co-signed what Gabrielle says about the words of Karen Read, right? Like her sit down with the reporters was a massive mistake. I remember back in September seeing an interview with her saying that, you know, her supporters are like Vietnam War protesters, and I remember thinking to myself, wow, does she actually believe that? And I think that's the kind of mindset that caused her to sit down and talk to the media in the first place. And I think that the jury will make a negative inference for her for sitting down with reporters, not sitting herself down for cross-examination. And, you know, I think that she doomed herself. At the end of the day, I teach young lawyers in my office, you hold your breath every single time your client opens their mouth. This is exactly why. And the dog bites as well, I was stunned by that, Michael. I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit baffled that they didn't bring in a dog expert.
Yeah, between all those interviews that she gave and her demonstrative nature in the courtroom, all of that. I mean, it was all editorial in some way, and yet she chose not to take the stand. I think that might be a problem.